What is neuro-linguistic programming, I hear you say? It stands for itself, really. So neuro-linguistic programming is, as it says, neuro is brain, linguistic is language, and programming speaks for itself. So what it actually means is, how do we program our brain with language? And you'll all have heard me speak to you about language patterns and behavioural patterns. So we have to be very careful about the way that we speak to ourselves and the way that we see the world. So for me, NLP is very much about techniques to help us think differently and feel differently and help others to do the same. That's really what it's about. So as we go through this tonight, there's plenty of slides we're going to go through. I think it's about 20 slides in all, and I'm going to talk to you about the heart of it. And this is just the start of me showing you NLP and what I believe it's all about. There's lots of NLP practitioners out there, master practitioners, and what a lot of them are very good at is they learn all this stuff, but they don't actually apply it to their own lives. And for me, one of the biggest things that I've noticed from my life in the 20 years I've been doing NLP now, it's a bit longer than that actually, but in that 20 years, there are 13 presuppositions. So basically 13 beliefs that I believe are the key elements. And I've labelled them, you know how much I love to put meanings to this. So my life choices is what I've called this now. So obviously that is an acronym. You know I love an acronym. So my life choices stands for the 13 of these presuppositions. So we're going to go through these now, and the 13 of them is, so the map is not the territory, you work perfectly, learning is in the doing, intentions are all positive. Fact, people make the best choices that they can. Every action has a purpose. Choice is better than no choice. Having all the resources. One system, mind and body. Information, the meaning of the communication. Conscious mind is balanced by the unconscious mind. Excellence by modelling success. And senses are the filter for all information. Now that is the acronym. My life choices. There are 13 of them, and what I will do for you now, I will go through these slides so that you can do it and have a practice yourself. But this is about changing what you currently believe about everything. So I'm going to give you a brief description, probably about 20 minutes worth. What I'd like you to do is then have a look through this video, make some notes and put your questions into the group, and then I will answer the questions, then we'll have a discussion about that. So the first one of my life choices is the map is not the territory. Now I think this for me is one of the most important things, and it's about understanding that not everybody sees things the way that we see them. You know, just because I see it in one way and I might disagree with the way that you see it, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that you see it differently, and that's all it is. And not everybody's map of life is exactly the same. And understanding that other people have different maps is the first step to making an improvement in the way that you perform and the way that you are. So basically it's about not judging other people. So, and to start with, it's about not judging yourself, and have a look at the way that you're doing things, can't you? And say, okay, this is the way that I'm doing it. Is there another way? The next bit is you work perfectly. And this was when I first started studying psychology. It was one of the first things that I found out. And I did my first slogan, if you like, was I fix people. And then the more I've got into this, I realised that nobody's broken. It's just people that have different strategies. We're all okay. It's just that we have different strategies of the way that we do things. So accepting that other people are working okay, there's nothing wrong with it. They're just carrying out strategies that are perfect to give you the result that you're getting. So if you want something different, you have to do it differently. So change your strategy. So, you know, you work perfectly. The next bit, and this, you know, you've heard me all say it, the learning is in the doing. It's okay learning all this stuff, but if you don't go and practice it, that's just crazy. You know, get out there and do it now. There is no failure. It's just feedback. You do it one way, it doesn't work, do it another way. If that doesn't work, do it another way. If that doesn't work, do it another way. You know, get out there and do it. Learn something from this today. Pick one of these 13 life choices that I'm giving you and go and practice it for a week until it becomes second nature for you. And remember, action is the cure to most things. Procrastination is the thief of time. And, you know, everywhere you see, everything that I do has do it now on the end of it. So stop mucking about. The learning is very much in the doing. This one's a hard one. A lot of people don't accept this, but all intentions are positive. You know, people have all different ideas. So what you might see as evil, I might see as evil. The person that's actually doing it, the intention is positive for them. So their intention is positive. It might not be positive for us, but it is a positive intention for them. So, you know, one of the examples that I give for this was Adolf Hitler. His intention was to unite the world. And the way he went about it was probably not the way that we all would have done it. However, his intention initially was a positive intention. So think about, you know, some of the things that other people do, their intention is good. And there's a lot of this. And if you ask me, you might want to take the notes and ask me about secondary payback, because this is very much part of that. The next one, fact, people make the best choices. You know, people always make the best choice given their map of the world. They'll always make that choice knowing what they know. They're not going to make a choice that's intentionally bad for them, because at some level, they'll actually justify the reason that they're making that choice. So, you know, they're not going to do it to muck themselves up intentionally. They do it because at some level, they believe they're making the best choice for them. Every action has a purpose. So all actions are not random. We're always trying to achieve something. Everything that we do, and this again is the secondary payback bit. You know, if you want the secondary payback discussion, put it into the group and say, yes, Ash, we'd like to know more about secondary payback. This is understanding that when some of our actions, the reason that we're actually doing them, even though they may be habitual, there is a reason behind why we're doing it, and it will be a secondary payback somewhere. So if you want to know more about the secondary payback, put it in the group and I'll explain it. We can have a whole session on secondary payback. I love this one. Choice is better than no choice. A few years ago, it was a few years ago now, but I think about 2005, when we were running out the Millionaire Mindset course for the first time, we had a lady in there, and I was explaining that choice is better than no choice. And she said to me, no, she said, I can't do choice, because if I have a choice, I can't make a decision. So it's almost that she's not in control of her life. For me, I like having loads of choices, because if I've got lots of choices, I've got lots of different ways to go. And we talk about one option is the same as having no choice. Two options are the same as one choice. You've either got one or the other. And it's not until you've actually got three options is where your real freedom starts. And that, for me, is having a choice is better than no choice. Because, as I've said to you before, my intention for everything is about freedom. That is my why, to be free, either financial freedom, to be able to do what I choose to do at any time. This is a good one, having all the resources. So there's no such thing as unresourceful people, only unresourceful states of mind. You know, a typical example of that, you might say about Brexit. So your mindset might say, oh, Brexit's really bad, it's all going to go wrong and we'll be in trouble. What about what a great opportunity this is that Brexit is coming along, and think about all the doors that this might open for us. So rather than having an unresourceful negative state of mind, why wouldn't you change that to something, you know, a little bit more positive? You know, it is in your capability to change that. You've got all the resources. You just need to be able to pick those resources and then use them. One system, mind and body. If you realised how powerful your mind was, you'd be very careful what you think, because you can make yourself ill just by the thoughts that you're having. You know, that by a mental thought process, you can actually bring about a physiological change in your body. So you need to be very careful about what you do think. So your mind and your body is just one system, and how you program that in your mind will change a lot about the way that your health is and other things. So, you know, master your thoughts and you'll master your mind. Master your mind and you'll master your body. This is a key one. Information is in the meaning of communication. The purpose of communication is to transfer that information to somebody else. The response you get might not be the response that you want. The reality of it is, if you're not getting the response from what you've said, there needs to have a change in that communication. Maybe it's you not communicating it. If I haven't communicated this to you correctly, whose fault is that? Is that your fault or is that my fault? I take responsibility because I haven't said it in a way that you understand it. So when you ask me a question about this, there are no silly questions. It just means I haven't communicated to you. I'm taking responsibility for my communication, and I suggest to you that you do the same. This is a key one to learn. The conscious mind is balanced by the unconscious mind. This is a real big one. Again, you know, everything that is not in the conscious mind is in the unconscious. It contains all the resources we need to live a life of balance. So this is a whole session on itself. So have a look at this, ask the questions about this one, and, you know, for you, understanding that the conscious mind plays a big part. And I talked to you about elephant training. So if you want the elephant training part, I'll do that as well. But you need to train your elephant, which is your unconscious part of your, you know, the whole mind. It is absolute crucial that you understand how powerful that subconscious is, so that we can actually do something with it and make some change at an habitual level. Excellence by modeling success. Do you know, this is one of a really good one for me. If one person can do something, it's possible to model it and teach it to others. And this is what I say: when businesses go bust in the first 5 years, generally it's because they keep making the same mistakes and they don't go and find out from somebody. Now, if you remember, I've said this to you before, that to master something on average takes about 10,000 hours. Now, if you break 10,000 hours down into 8-hour days, 5-day weeks, so that's 40 hours a week, that will take you 5 years to actually do 10,000 hours. And generally, I've found that each time that I've started a business, it's taken me 5 years to actually earn any real money. Now, what I learned the third time was, right, who can I copy? Who's doing a really good job? So Richard Bandler was a big one for me. Anthony Robbins was another one. What were they doing well? You know, what were the things about them that I could actually learn and, you know, employ in my business? So don't try and reinvent the wheel. Learn from other people. That's what the MAD group is all about. If you don't know it, ask. If I don't know the answer, and I don't know them all, but if I don't, I'll find out for you and come back to you. Somebody else in the group might do that. So how about, you know, model what other people are doing well and get on and do it. The last one, the senses are the filter for all the information. So we take everything that we see, our reality of the world is based on our senses. So what we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we taste, what we smell, everything comes in there. And then we make a picture of that whole experience based on our past. And we'll put all of that together. So we need to be aware, especially with what we see and then what we think is really happening. And this takes us all the way back to the first one, that the map is not the territory. So you may see somebody doing something and then base your decision based on that sight or that sense you've got there that you're using and come up with the wrong answer. So we need to be very careful about how our inner representations of life are formed by our senses. So have a look through all of these. The slides are there as we've been talking. Have a read through them. If you want anything more, please put the questions into the group and then we'll go into more depth. This is just the start for the NLP, is understanding the 13 presuppositions or the 13 My Life choices. So pick one or two and work on it. Now, I know that those of you who've been on the mindset course do this and you struggle with it. Here's the opportunity to find out more and to get into some real in-depth NLP. So good luck with all of this. Let's have some feedback. Have a look. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I look forward to hearing your questions.